I would be patient, Warrior fans. It's not all doom and gloom this morning. It's going to be all right. I hope it's going to be all right.
Look, the reality is we've been very spoiled. Very, 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 very spoiled. That in a way that is just rare. It just is. Like, New England, Patriots, Laker fans, pick your team, the Chiefs currently. There are certain fan bases, the Red Sox, in the last 15 years until recently, like you get spoiled by success and you forget what it's like being a real team. And what I mean by that is that, like, when you're at the top of the league and not just winning one championship, I'm talking multiple championships over a decade time, you just get jaded. And so I think that there's a cold reality that we were accustomed to prior, the older fans like you and I, where it's like now it's like we need to recalibrate. Like, you're not going to land KD every other offseason. You're not going to be a top 3 team contender year in, year out, right? And that's hard to swallow. And I think that's the cold reality where I'm at right now is that, for so long I've just felt like this team had a birthright to start in the Western Conference Finals. Right. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek because I legitimately felt that way. And we never thought it would end. And we knew in the back of our minds it would at some point. But once you start going through the actual pains of the slow decline, it's tough to accept. Right. And so once you see a couple of years of decline, you're like, all right, how can we quickly pivot out of this and not crash into the wall? And the thing that I don't have the answer for, if they do find a way to swing a trade, okay? Just hear me out on this. They do. They swing a trade, and they unload a gazillion draft picks. And I'm not even going to list them. Let's just say a gazillion draft picks. And that crashes and burns. How quickly can you pivot to recouping some of that back as you disassemble, realizing we have nowhere to go? Are the players that you're stuck with, are you the one holding the bag at the end of the game when the music stops? Are you the one without a chair and you have to swallow the final couple years of a Draymond Green contract that doesn't look so good? Or acquiring Paul George, and he's 37, 38 years old, making $65, $70 million a year, and no one wants him. Right? Like, everyone wants to, swing now and try to win. But what happens when it doesn't, come to fruition? And then instead of executing your draft picks because, you tank and you're at the bottom of the league, those draft picks are gone elsewhere and they're unprotected and everyone has them. And so now what would have been a 3 or 4 year, climb back up is like a 7-year climb back up. It's hard. And these are the things, like what we're talking about now. This is what the Lakeups and Dunleavy are literally and have been talking about for a long, long time. And I'm going to be real. I don't even know what their best option is anymore. I don't even know. Like, I wanted to swing and go all in on Curry, but I also understand that you can't have an empty stadium for 7 or 8 years when it's brand new. You just can't. It's bad business. Right?
I'm thinking back to
some future.
I'm thinking back to the last picks where it really hurts right now. James Wiseman not working out really hurts you right now. Not knowing who Moses Moody is right now kind of hurts you, because if you do try to trade him, what's his value? Don't know. And then I think about Jordan Poole, who, for whatever reason, struggled that second year after the championship. Not a second year, third year. And he still averaged 20, but it didn't look good. All the turnovers and everything like that. So those picks not happening, not developing, it's kind of put you in a spot right now to where you have some big glaring holes. And then you got the contracts with Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green. And when do you think about pivoting if you do sputter out this season? Now, again, the offseason is just beginning. We don't know what the team's going to look like. But if it doesn't look good, and you got the All-Star game coming up, there's going to be a lot of noise. I'm telling you right now, and I'm just looking 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line, when that All-Star game is here in the Bay Area, and Steph Curry's going to be in that game in the three-point shootout. But if the Warriors aren't playing well, and they're sputtering, to your point, I'm what you're talking about, life after Curry.
I'm trying to play the scenarios.
So if that happens, you get around the All-Star game, there's going to be a lot of buzz about what to do with Stephen Curry. What's going to happen with Stephen Curry? How does Steph Curry end his career? No, where I'm going is that's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is if the Warriors are struggling, and they're not even, say they get to the All-Star game, and they're not even in the top 10.
They're 17 and 29.
12th, 13th
Whatever.
in the West.
I'm just throwing numbers out
12th, 13th in the West.
Yeah.
And you get to that All-Star game, and all the national media is going to be here. All the international media is going to be here. They're going to be, oh, Steph, man, this is Steph's All-Star game. Swan's off for Steph, blah, 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 blah. And then the questions are going to start piling up. And the questions are going to keep coming quickly, rapidly, whatever words you want to use. What do you do with Stephen Curry? And that conversation may be coming sooner rather than later.
Could you imagine the Valkyries having the number 1 overall pick and the Golden State Warriors?
It's possible. It's possible
year.
where Curry, it's like, oh boy, there may be something happening there. So that's the situation we're in right now. And I think Dunleavy and Lakem know that. They have an enigma with Stephen Curry here where if we don't maximize this right now, if we don't try to get him another playmaker, this thing can go awry very quickly. Especially if nobody feels like the youngsters are going to make a leap. That's assuming they don't make a leap. But the West is tough. You know, Houston's trying to add, and they're trying to load up. Utah obviously is trying to load up here. I couldn't believe Utah was in the mix from Mikal Bridges and Danny Ainge's company.
Memphis is in the mix because they were also involved in the Mikal Bridges conversation.
And John Morant's coming back.
Well, and they've got pieces and they've got picks. And so, yeah, like, again, I sound like I'm being overly negative. I just think the reality is starting to sink in that I think that their options are few and far between. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't mean it can't happen. It doesn't mean we can't be proven wrong. Sports is the great equalizer. Things happen that we don't expect all the time. But it is an unlikely scenario to have 2 of your young players just absolutely pop out of nowhere when they couldn't get a lot of run consistently for 3 years. And then in year 4, they both simultaneously pop.
Well, first of all, again, Kuminga popped last year. He gave you a large sample size. He popped last year.
But if he popped real quick, had he popped to where it was undeniable, I don't even think the question of $30 million a year for Jonathan Kuminga would even be debated. I don't even think Kuminga would be even on the table if we truly in our hearts, every Warrior fan, felt the same conviction.
I don't know.
We would know it.
I don't know. Maybe we don't know it. We didn't know it with Stephen Curry at one point. We didn't know it with Stephen Curry at one point.
Steph's kind of a unique player.
But we didn't know it with Steph. We didn't know it with Clay. We didn't know it with Draymond. You got to let these things play out. This is a young man who's 21 years old. And he popped. And he popped for the Warriors. Hell, he kept the Warriors in the playoff race.
But I think the difference, it's hard for me to use what Clay, Dre, and Steph did because that runway that they had, there was no mega star.
But no doubt,
baked into the equation.
No doubt, there was. No, I hear that. No, it was unique.
This is a unique situation.
But again, this is a unique situation. Jonathan Kuminga is a unique player. He's a unique player that they haven't had in a very long time.
Okay.
A guy who's going to dunk on your head and is going to get to the rim, is going to get to the free throw line, and is learning how to play defense. He's really out of learn. So he did pop a little bit last year. No, you're not. Don't put me in a category with you being patient.
Okay, fine.
Don't do that.
But a ton of fans are patient with the Kuminga process.
I don't think they are.
I don't think Kerr is patient.
No, I don't think fans are patient. Not for what I'm seeing. People were ready to pivot. They were ready to pivot off of Kuminga.
Well, that's the Curry
I saw tweets
factor.
yesterday where they're like, man, Kuminga should have never even entered the door. He should have been traded on draft day. So, no, there's no patience anymore when you have Stephen Curry because they're not maximizing the window. There's this narrative out there that Joe Lincoln's not really trying to win. He's trying to take and keep like it's just silly stuff. So it's just silly stuff happening. But nobody's going to be patient. Kuminga basically had to go to the media. That's why when it comes to attitudes and people talk about Klay Thompson had a bad attitude, Klay Thompson had a bad attitude. Like Draymond Green didn't have a bad attitude. Like Andrew Wiggins showed us that he didn't even care at times. And then Kuminga literally went to the media and said, I want out. Kerr lost my trust. He literally went to the media to go play. You know what I'm saying? But he popped. Now he's got to get rebounds. He's got to be a better rebound. He's got to get more than 6 a game. That's the next evolution for him. But he showed me some flashes where I said, okay, that's a player. That's a player. He showed me enough over the last 3 years where I know that's a player. Hell, even we already forget 2 years ago when Wiggins missed 2 months. Who kept the Warriors in the top 6?
Yeah,
Who else?
It was Kuminga.
Kuminga helped stabilize things.
But when Wiggins came back, the coach went right back to the other guys.
That's why I'm assuming that Wiggins is going to be gone. I'm assuming that Wiggins is going to be gone. And if he's gone, that's a lot of runway for Kuminga. That's a lot of runway. Now, does it help you win right away? Big games? I don't know. We have to see. Now, Moses Moody's an interesting one.
I don't know what to make of Moody.
Well, we just don't know who he is. But when he when he plays, I see a player who's not the most athletic laterally, doesn't have the quickest first step, but I see a player who knows where to be and knows how to play the game of basketball, has a nice IQ, is in the right spot, is going to be in the right position. Now, he's going to make every play? No, probably not. But he's going to be in the right spot. And that's a player that I say, you know what? He's played a lot of basketball. He's wise beyond his years. I'm willing to give him a shot and see what it looks like if he's not involved in the move. He could be part of a package. And all of a sudden tomorrow or Friday, you're happy again.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? But I do the all season, we got to be patient here. We can't be swinging back and forth left and right. No, that's what you guys, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Because yesterday when I was saying, well, they don't have assets to make this move, and everybody's coming down my road.
Well, Bonte,
all of a sudden, we should have been cool. No, it's not about being right. It's not about that.
But again, when you're presented with new information, then you need to recalibrate. This is why the stock market and the real estate market is what it is. You know, I'm assessing in real time. Am I not? That's what the coach...
I don't know. I guess that's what you're doing.
Is the coach doing that? You guys are ripping my head. Does the coach do that with playing time?
You guys are ripping my head off. You guys are ripping my head off. You guys are ripping my head off when I said I don't think they have the assets to get some of these players. And then Mikal Bridges goes in, and the first thing you say, man, we don't have the assets.
Well, when I saw what the asking price was, yes.
Nothing changed from yesterday with the Golden State Warriors.
What changed was 4 picks from the Knicks, along with Bogdanovich's carcass to the Nets. That's what happened.
Oh, my God. You are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at AC1 San Francisco and Odyssey Sports Station. Always